Cheers.
Cheers.
Speaking of cheers.
Oh, speaking of cheers, before we get this episode started, I'm thirsty. Jenna, are you thirsty?
I am thirsty. I've got my Marshall's beer right
You're
here.
right.
Hold on. Mine has to have a bottle
Oh,
opener. And look, it's a Hot Wheel.
Very nice.
Ooh, fresh.
Very nice.
And if you too like a refreshing beverage, be sure to check out our sponsor during these episodes of the breakdown of ACOMAF, Marshall's Brewing. And if you love their merch, use our discount code BookThots10 to get 10% off their merch. Not applicable to the alcohol. Gotta pay full price for that. That's Oklahoma laws, not us, okay?
Welcome to Book Thots, brand lifestyle podcast. We are thoughts for books, and these are our thoughts on books. I'm Jenna.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Adriana.
3 sisters stripping down one book at a time. Today, we are continuing ACOMAF with chapters 27 through 35. And for those of you not on YouTube, I chuckled because Emily did a very nice strip it down dance for us.
I'm a natural.
Before we jump in, we do have a content warning. Today's podcast is rated mature. We are book thoughts after all, so we are going to be using adult language and talking about adult topics. So please pay attention to who may be listening near you. Additionally, this episode will include spoilers for all 5 books. Each episode, we will focus on specific chapters, but our conversation will include the entire series. Lastly, I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. Maybe we, but definitely these two, Emily and Jenna, will at least mispronounce a name or place. Emily will be leading the strip down, so strip it down, girl.
Strip it down, girl. Chapter 27. Feyre is pissed with a capital P. As she is standing back up, she tells Rhysand to never use her as bait again. And Rhys realizes he may have pushed her too far. Feyre realizes she stopped fighting. Both are full of emotions. Feyre asks what Hybern wants with her, and Rhys promises to find out as darkness flickers. They winnow back to the house as Feyre proclaims Velaris isn't her home. All right, chapter 27 questions. We talked a little about this last episode, but this would also make me feel used too. I understand her being upset.
Yeah, it's not like that emotion comes out of nowhere. But I do also, I don't know. I don't guess I really get where Rhys is coming from not telling her. He tells her about everything else, so why not tell her? Like, if you know something's going to happen and she's going to be vulnerable.
Especially since you know it's the one that, like, still haunts her nightmares.
Yeah. I think if he told her, though, she would have prepared to fight, but he wanted to see what, like, her gut instinct was. Like, are you willing to fight when it really comes down to it and you don't think there's a way out? And I think that's what she saw was like, dang, I did stop fighting. I need to fight. So I understand where he came from, but I also feel like Feyre's hurt is very real and very seen here.
Daddy Rhys has given us some tough love and you like it, but at the same time, Feyre doesn't have to take it laying down.
Oh, yeah.
She can still be upset about it.
Yeah, I'd never forgive him.
Yeah. Big grudge holder.
Big grudge holder. Poor Rhys, because then he notices that he may have pushed her too far. He's kind of sad because he's like, oh, you're like actually upset with me, and you've never really been upset with me because of something that I don't know, purposely did to try to be good, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's his first time messing up.
Sulky Daddy Rhys enters.
Oh, yeah, because he apologized for, like, quite a while afterwards.
A long while.
Also, how do you pronounce Velaris? Court of Romantasy, she said Velaris. And I was like, dang it, have I been doing it wrong? And Jenna, I thought you were doing the audiobook, so I thought maybe they said it in the audiobooks.
Oh, I'm sure they say it in the audiobooks. Do I just autocorrect when I read it on my own head? Yes. Yes, I do. We've all seen it. Deus, that I've never said correctly.
You try, though. You try to correct yourself, but then the minute it comes back up, you're like, I forgot what that word is.
Error. It's just a mental block, and you guys are going to have to bear with me because it's not going to be there.
It's never going to change. Ready for chapter?
Never going to change.
Never going to change.
Are you guys ready for chapter 28?
Yeah, I think it's Velaris is what they say in the audiobook.
Well, it's Velaris to me, and I've already really committed too much to saying Rhys and Rhysand instead of Rise and Rhysand, so I can't do any more than that. Chapter 20 weight. The heaviest chapter of them all. Okay, chapter 28. It's just Feyre and Rhysand at breakfast with her sisters. Cassian and Azriel are with the Ator. They eat quickly, both wanting to get back to Valeris and find out what the Ator knows. After dropping off the letter at the post in town, which it doesn't say they drop it off at the post, but I just assume that that's where they're dropping it off. Rhys flies Feyre back through the wall, and then they winnow to Valeris. Both go their separate ways when they reach the townhome. Feyre to read a book, Rhys-Anne to check on the Ator's interrogation. An hour later, Rhys-Anne shows back up, and something tight eases in Feyre's chest when she finds him unharmed. He offers to show her the interrogation with the Ator through his mind. She says yes. A few things we learn from this interrogation. 1. A small enemy force had infiltrated the north. 2. The keen deaf wants Feyre. 3. Azriel uses a knife called Truth Teller. Number 4. Everyone knows the three-way love triangle drama, aka that Rhys took Feyre from Tamlin. Number 5. Tamlin has sealed his borders. And number 6. There's a giant army shown in the Ator's mind, the same size as the one from the previous war. Rhys-Anne knows he's learned as much as he can from the Ator, so he instructs Azriel to break its legs, shred its wings, and dump it off at the coast.
I thought that said closet, and it made me sing Rihanna in my head. So sorry, I just had to say that.
Dump it off at the closet. Wait, what's the song that's coming to mind?
Is it not Rihanna? Everything you own in a box to the left in my closet. That's not Rihanna,
I'm
is
pretty
it?
sure it's Jordan Sparks, right? To the left. Everything you own in a box.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
Is that Beyonce?
That doesn't sound like Beyonce.
It is. It's
We don't
Beyonce for sure.
Is it really?
I don't know why I thought it was Rihanna. Yeah.
I was like, I had to go through the whole lyrics for a
Oh,
second.
It
I think
is.
it's
I don't
Beyonce.
know. I just had to get something wrong this episode. Maybe I won't get it wrong with the book. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. Way to completely derail us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Done seeing the memory, Feyre decides she needs a pen and paper. She needs to send a letter. And Blue's Clues, we're not talking about you. The letter is simple and quick, stating, I left of my own free will. I am cared for and safe. I am grateful for all that you did for me, all that you gave. Please don't come looking for me. I'm not coming back. Basically, in my opinion, the letter that a serial killer would make you write to your family if you were actually still very much in danger. Feyre gives it to Rhys to send to Tamlin, and now that's that, it's time to hit the city. While getting ready, Feyre gets some girl talk in with Amren, and we learn a few things from this conversation too. First, the twins. I don't even attempt their names anymore, so they're the twins to me, are wraiths, which means they are only half high fae, made up of shadow and mist, making them really good spies. Like maybe even good spies to watch a certain creature like Amren. Second, the Court of Dreams is founded on 3 things: to defend, to honor, and to cherish. There are rules, but they are flexible in order to protect the people. Third, there is no tithe here like the Spring Court. 4, the necklace Amren gave Feyre to protect her in the prison actually contained no magic. It was all mental and a test to see if Feyre would give it back. You just gotta love Amren.
And is fighting for her life.
What's she
back
doing?
here.
Did that thing fall?
Sorry.
We're
just in all sorts of interruptions, sorry.
The screen. It's really close now. Perfect. Thanks,
It's
babe.
ricketing.
Okay.
I 100% agree with you on the letter. That is my first instinct. Do I think Tamlin's going to
Absolutely
believe this
not.
letter? No, I never have. Why would you even bother? You're only going to piss him off more.
Rhys is like, are you sure about this? Like, this looks like I am forcing you
Forced you.
at not gunpoint, but whatever you call magic point.
Yeah, it was literally like, hey, it's all chill. I'm good. Don't worry about me. It's very much I would never trust this. If I was Tamlin, I'd be like, we are literally knocking on their doorstep tomorrow. She's not safe.
She's in duress.
We ride at dawn.
Buckle up, Lucian. It's me and you against the horrors of the night court. Let's go.
And you know, Rhys the whole time is like, Feyre, darling, I know it's been a rough day with the Ator. Like,
Oh, man. Yeah, the first thing was like,
sorry.
Feyre, if you want to write a note to soothe Tamlin, this is not the way to go.
It needs to be longer. Maybe like a secret password in there.
Or like, fuck you,
Yeah.
you hurt me, you piece of shit. Just like something like that, so he like gets anger from her or something, not acceptance of what's going on.
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to only take an hour for the adder to actually break?
Yeah, that's perfect for the Ator because he can torture people, he can be mean to people, but he can't take it himself. And that's exactly how I picture him.
That's kind of the vibes you get even slightly under the mountain in certain scenes. Like, yes, he's terrifying and he's beneficial in that way, but like Amarantha and the king just use you. So like,
Yeah, he's
I
just a
don't know.
little pawn who's gonna fight for whoever has the biggest sway in what's going on.
Remind me again why they fly and then winnow, but could winnow earlier. So, like, they fly out of the mortal lands and then winnow back to Valeris. But earlier, when they were practicing in the forest, they were winnowing. So, remind me again why they do this.
They're flying past
Yeah.
that barrier, that's the spring court or whatever, or above it or something like that. But then once they're past it, they can do whatever they want,
So, they can't.
is what I assume.
Yeah, because didn't they take like a weird way to come down into the mortal lands
Yeah.
to avoid it being detected by
I was mainly
spring?
just
Okay.
confused on why they could winnow within the mortal lands, but not when it came to go back to Valeris. But it makes sense that they couldn't winnow into the Fey realm to the mortal realm because that would really defeat the purpose of the wall. In this chapter, Feyre is talking about Azriel, and they're like being trapped in that basement in the darkness for 23 hours a day. Did that make him the shadow singer, or was he like actually born as a shadow singer? So obviously we can't know unless there's a book that just is a tell-all about him that's coming up. But in your opinion, do you think that his shadow singing was made or was born?
I think that it's born. I think that's why he was treated differently from the beginning. Is because Reese lists it as like the Demonte, is that right? The head people? Yeah,
Amadi.
that one. He lists Shadow Singer too, right? And then there's some other ones. So I don't think that Shadow Singer is something that can be made. I think it's like a natural ability.
I think his like why he's so feared though is because of what he's been through, and that's why he's good at his job. That's even why he's a
Yeah.
better shadow singer.
So not only was he naturally born being able to speak to the shadows, but he basically had to become friends with them because he was with them so much. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, he had to embrace it
Yeah.
full throttle.
I mean, sad story, but I do like it kind of combining the two.
Yeah, because they've all been through so much torture, but it's really sad to hear his background of how long it took for him to be uncaged, and then like learning about him even learning to fly, kind of more as almost like an adult to them, basically, versus like as a young one being able
This
to
is
test
kind of
out his
morbid,
wings.
but do you guys ever wonder like how you would actually be in torture? Because like the Ator lasts an hour. If someone was messing with my fingernails, I don't even know if I could last that long. Like 5 minutes max, maybe a two. So like it's impressive when I read about people that can last through torture.
I think all human nature is to survive. So no matter what your instinct is in the moment, it's going to be purely based on survival. How do I survive this encounter? How do I survive this moment? Like, how do I survive to the next day? How do I get help? How do I get to the next step so I can get help?
I know this is weird to bring up, but I've recently watched Scandal, and surprisingly, there's a lot of torture in that show. Did not expect it, but watching the torture, I was like, I'd crack in an instant. One of them uses a drill on people.
Yep.
He drills holes into them, and I'm just like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Rant, rant. Okay. Yeah, what do you want to
Yeah,
know? Don't touch me with it. I'm good. I'm good.
If you, as a woman, actually anybody, it doesn't even have to be gender specific at this point, but like there's a book that still disturbs me to this day because it is one of those like Stranger Things realistic type of horror, but you have like once you read it you're like, oh yeah, there are people that are that
I think
sadistic
of-
out there in the world. And it's Pretty Girls by Karen
I
Slaughter.
think of Criminal Minds, and I can't remember the really hot black guy that's in it. He's a good looking fella.
Mm.
And he is like being tortured, but he's been like military trained for torture because he was some secret agent of something. And so he like has learned how to escape his mind during torture so that you kind of remove your mental space from it. And I was like, that would be such a
Yeah.
useful tool in not only torture, but also when your kids are driving you crazy and you could just be like, okay, I'm escaping my mental. I am only here physical.
Could you
Oh
imagine
my
the
gosh.
training
I
for
think
that? Like the torture training you'd have to go through to be
No,
able to get to that
not for
point.
me.
That's
I think I
crazy.
might already know how to do that because when Garrett talks, sometimes I just do not retain that information.
I'd love a camera panel view to his
No.
facial
He
reaction
can't
to
hear me.
that.
He's not going to be happy. We will have words after
But you
this.
will ignore them in
Nope.
your mental
I
space.
will not
Yeah.
listen.
Chapter 20. I'm really struggling with these chapters today. Blah, 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 blah. Chapter 29. It's time to hit the town. Feyre is taking it all in. The music, the shops, the theater, the riverside, the liveliness of the city. She also can't believe that Rhysand, Mor, Azriel, Cassian, and Amren just go about like normal people, savoring their moments together as just a family. They stop at a small restaurant by the river where the owner obviously knows the five and gives them all hugs. Well, except for Amren, which is wise. She sits them at one of her best tables, pours everyone wine, and serves them platters and platters of food. The food is amazing. Feyre even tells the owner that the food makes her feel awake. Rhysand hears Feyre say this and is caught staring at her, but Feyre is quickly distracted again by what Amra is eating. Well, rather drinking blood. The group finishes up. Cassian, Az, and Mor go dancing. Amren goes home to drink more blood, and Rhys and Feyre decide to walk back to the townhouse. Rhysand takes Feyre to his favorite view of the city, which happened to be his sister's as well. R.I.P. Feyre then starts to ask some of the hard-hitting questions. Don't High Lords get to do whatever they please? Rhysand says there's a great many things he wishes he could do, but doesn't get to. Is he with Amren, and that's why he gets her jewelry? Rhys laughs at this. He invited her to his bed once, but she just laughed at him. He gets her jewelry as a friend and because it makes her happy. You never married? He says he's had many lovers, but never felt tempted to ask them to share a life with him, and none were probably tempted to marry him since it meant a life of risk. Finally, Feyre asks, why keep this place a secret? Why let outsiders think so poorly of his people? Simply put, it's what it took to build a place for dreamers. The spells his ancestors put together to keep it secret are still being used. The Court of Nightmares is still the face of his court so that he can protect Valeris. I guess pleased with his answer, Feyre asks if Rhysand ever worries about Az. He does, but the only person that can get Az to share some of his emotions is Mor. Interesting. The conversation is abruptly stopped when Feyre notices the music playing. It's the same music from Under the Mountain. It wasn't Tamlin the fiddler. It was Rhysand sending her the music to save her. It was always Rhysand. She thanks him for what he did then and what he is doing now. He grabs her and shoots in the sky. That night, her and Rhys send flirty notes to each other via the disappearing paper and pen. She eventually goes to bed and has nightmares about the tour, but does not wake once.
Those Superman moments in books just always crack me up. He grabs her and they shoot off into the sky.
Yeah.
It takes her breath away. But then she's like, I know I could get used to flying.
I didn't put it in my summary because it would have taken years, but I do love in this chapter just the imagery of the city and everything that Feyre is taking in because it's a place that I think I would like to visit. I'd like to go there.
Yeah, especially when the stars fall, whatever they call that. I want to go that night. I love that scene.
If I could choose one night, I'm going that night. And then it talks like when Az is going off with them to go dancing for the night, it talks about how like shadows are gathering around his shoulders. And I just have such a hard time just like picturing this. Like it really is it like just two black lumps are just like festering around him. Like I was just gonna ask, how do you guys picture this?
I was gonna say I picture it more wispy and like into creatures. but like not like good and evil sitting on your shoulder, if that makes sense. Wisp around, like encasing him, but like the darkness of his shadows can form creatures, can form the wings that are hidden behind, and like different.
Is there not?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for this?
Let's
Is
hear
it
it.
an orca? If you
I'm just-
picture a damn orca on his shoulder, I swear.
No, I just, you know how in cartoons there's like the thundercloud over somebody that's like having a rough time and that's how they show it. It's just like
A thundercloud.
I don't picture the thundercloud, but just like the area surrounding that person just kind of gets darker.
I picture like
Like it's not
Hercules, the animation, the Disney animation. Doesn't he have little shadow people that are on his shoulders, or is he a shadow person? There's a shadow person in that movie,
wait, Hades
possibly,
with the fire?
possibly, but black, like shadows.
I don't. I mean, there's Emperor's New Groove and the angel and the devil on his shoulders.
I love Kronk. I like the quote in this. It's not from the chef, but it's about the chef, and it's Feyre just observing her, or the owner. I assume she also cooks. The happiness on her face, the satisfaction that only a day of hard work doing something you loved could bring, hits me like a stone. And I just love that, because there really is like, I even in like customer service, like I travel a lot for work. Sometimes I'll be at a gate for a flight or renting a car, and it's just someone that brightens your day. And it's not a job that you really think of. It's customer facing. It can't be fun all the time. But these people just like brighten your day, and they're happy to be doing it. They're just there to make your life better. And that, I just like that quote, because you run into people like that all the time.
Yeah, truly enjoying
Yeah.
what they're doing, and it just kind of rubs off on you in such a positive way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't know if this is a theory forming. I think I need to keep reading. But I still kind of think, and we mentioned this last episode, potentially, small chance, tiny portion, that I think that Azriel and Moore could be mates, but they're like rejecting the bond. Rereading this book in such detail, because I reread it probably 10 times, at least certain chapters, but rereading in such detail, I'm like, they're just so drawn to each other and just understand each other's emotions, but it doesn't necessarily feel like lovers. It feels like there's a deeper bond. And could they be best friends? Yes, but it just feels like more to me.
Yeah.
It just feels like more to me.
It would make sense if like more, like she explains much later on, is like,
Yeah.
he's not my type. She loves him dearly and she would do anything for him, but maybe the reason why she doesn't choose him is because he's not her type.
Well-
and that leaves Azriel open for another love in his life later on.
Yeah, I
if
was going
he
to
can
say,
learn
and
to
he
ever
doesn't
love
think he
Passmore.
deserves the love. So they're both rejecting it in a way.
I don't even know if he feels like, I know he loves her and deeply, but the vibes that I'm getting from them so far in the reread is more like it's a pull, like that mate bond pull, but it's not like he romantically wants to be with her.
That's what I'm saying.
Like he wants to be there for her. He wants to protect her. He wants to always be around and that kind of thing, but you know, from the shadows.
Well, it's that mate pool, but it's not the romantic part, which we know is possible. We know that you can have a mate that you're not necessarily going to be in love with, which is crazy to me. But still, we know it's a potential. So that's why I'm like, do I think that they might be mates? I think it's a potential, and I think that there's a chance that they're both being like, nah, like I rather fall in love with someone and ignore this than be mates with someone that I'll just be best friends with forever.
I think both of them have a deep connection as well because of not trauma bonding,
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the same time, they both have been through a lot and they can see that on each other and through the facade that they have to put
totes
on.
trauma bonding.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not shared trauma, but it's still trauma bonding.
Yeah.
And they've had shared trauma as well, so.
Because if you notice, it seems like both Moore and Azriel have a real good connection with other people. Like they can read the room really well. They can read other people really well. And that's why Azriel, granted, he's a spy master too, so it makes sense. But like even with Elaine, like he knows what to say, what not to say, where to push, where not to push. You know, so it's like that's another encounter of him with someone else that people try and ship that are like, could that be a love interest? And I'm like, I don't think it's that necessarily. I think he's protective
Mhm.
over for her for another reason. I think he's seeing something that maybe the others haven't clued in yet. And it's just a give her time, give her
Yeah.
time. But with Gwen, to me personally, I think his shadows and her just speak differently. And I think that's what we see a little bit more of that romantic bond.
Should we be doing a vulgar gesture count? Because
Oh
it's
my gosh.
crazy.
That was my one point, and Nivea said it last episode, and I cannot believe I didn't notice it before, but now it's all I mean, I'm listening, so it's all I can hear. I'm like, every chapter has like 3 vulgar gestures in it right now. And anything happens that she's going to be sassy about, it's vulgar gesture. It's never called anything else. It's vulgar gesture. It's
Yeah.
cracking me
It's
up.
crazy. So I just had to put that in there because next episode, if there's any vulgar gestures, we'll start to count. In this chapter, it explains how they keep outsiders from telling others about Valeris, but it never talks about how the people within are, if they're ever traveling, and how they never expose Valeris. So just thought it was funny because how the heck do all these people keep it secret? Do they basically just live here and never travel? But this chapter explains how people that trade within Valeris keep it secret, but not the people that live there going out.
Like Once Upon a Time or the Wanda series, where it's like a veil that you pass through and all of a sudden you have amnesia and you're like, I was traveling somewhere, so I'm just going to keep going. And then you go through the travel again. And you're like, I'm home.
That's basically what happens to the
Blank slate.
outsiders. Chapter 30. Feyre is training the next day with Cassian in hand-to-hand combat. Next to them is a pissed off Az because he couldn't get into the Mortal Queen's palace, and Rhysand. They're both sparring. During a water break, Feyre takes in the tattoos, beauty, and wings of both Rhys and Az, and for the first time in a long time, a painting comes to her mind. Death on swift wings. She thinks of the colors she would use to do it. But the admiring ends when Cassian wants to talk to her about her letter to Tamlin and how she proclaimed to have left for good. Like a knee-jerk reaction, she snipes back with, "When are we going to talk about you and more?" Cassian, seeing her anger, tells Feyre to get back in the ring. He also apologizes if he was overstepping, but he just wanted to see if she was actually okay. She says she is fine, which, shocker, everybody listening who might be male, that means that they're not fine. She says she is fine and starts punching, but as she is practicing her punches, she thinks of everything she went through. All Tamlin hadn't risked to save her, just sitting on that damn throne. And then she thinks of the 2 High Fae she had to kill. Cassian acknowledges her pain, but doesn't dismiss it. He is just listening. Also, just like another thing for men who are listening to know. She starts to cry and proclaims that it should have been her. That's when Rhysand takes over with a tornado of darkness and wraps Feyre in a cocoon of his wings. Az and Cassian are now just awkwardly sparring off to the side while all of this next sequence of events is happening. He tells her that she knows how she feels because it's how he's felt every day since his mom and sister were murdered. She can let it wreck her, or she can learn to live with it. Feyre says she is sorry about his family, and he says he is sorry for what happened to her under the mountain and admits one of his nightmares is her neck snapping and the life leaving her eyes. She didn't really have a response to that, so she changes the subject, confirming that fire came from Lucian's dad and asking if Rhysand's power would have the most sway over her because he is the most powerful High Lord. He admits he doesn't know, but asks her to summon darkness. Feyre is like, how? Rhysand explains, but quote here. It appears I forgot to highlight it. Hold on, I gotta find it. This will be quick. Elevator music, please.
Boo, 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 boo,
Have you
boo,
ever listened to
boo, boo, boo.
elevator music? Is it your first time on Earth? There are different kinds of darkness, Rhys said. I kept my eyes shut. There is darkness that frightens, the darkness that soothes, the darkness that is restful. I pictured each. There is the darkness of lovers and the darkness of assassins. It becomes what the bearer wishes it to be, needs it to be. It is not wholly bad or good. Then he shows her the darkness of comfort and then makes it vanish like that. Rhysand tells Feyre they can work on it later, but for now, she's stinking. She needs to take a bath. You probably wouldn't guess it, but she responds with a vulgar gesture.
Oh man, that's funny.
Okay, claps for Feyre for realizing that Tamlin in Under the Mountain didn't risk a single thing for her, and the only time that he had the opportunity to get her from under that mountain, he wanted to have sex with her. Feyre, what a realization.
He didn't crawl after me, and the
Yeah.
one time we got to be together, he wanted to fuck?
Mm-mm.
What?
Mm-mm.
Light bulb.
You don't even look at me the entire time. I'm literally being sent off to my death each time.
And
But
then
thanks.
inside
Okay,
your
got
office,
it.
someone uses the wrong pen and you're destroying it. So, like, it just makes me so angry. And I'm not trying to be a Tamlin hater, but man, on a chapter like this and a paragraph like that, it's so easy. It's just too easy.
It's a little too easy.
Yeah.
There's an easy button, and he's
Yeah.
making us
Like
smash
lizard, but he's going easy,
Yes.
easy.
I remembered my point, and it's because of this chapter that I wanted to make it. So it's still relevant.
Let's hear it.
Because do you see how Cassian and Azriel are not playing third wheel here? They're not coming and being a buffer between Feyre and Rhys. They never do that with Mor. Cassian's always acting as the buffer. Not only does Mor want him there, but Azriel wants him there too. They split off and know that Feyre and Rhysand don't need a buffer. But then when it comes to Mor and Azriel, that buffer is there. I don't think that it's a romantic pull between them, and they don't want it to be romantic. Neither one of them want that. So that's why they keep Cassian between them, because they know he's the comic relief guy that's going to make things not serious. It made me want to point it out when they both like skedaddle.
Oh, yeah.
And pretend to spar.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that because it makes me think of all the TikToks I've seen where it's like when your neighbors are arguing, but you gotta find like an excuse to do something, and it will be like just something that doesn't make sense, like you're washing the petals of your flowers or something like that, just so you can hear the drama. Like I just picture them like clink, clink,
vacuuming the grass.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're not actually fighting. They want to know the drama just as much as anybody else. I just love the explanation of darkness here. It is beautiful.
It's
like
beautiful.
Oftentimes in books, it's all about the light, right? I mean, okay, Shadow Daddy is a common theme, and it does often include darkness, as do shadows.
The common thing to think about when you think about someone being good is the light, is brightness, is bringing that light back into your life. So, yes, I really like it when it's like you need to embrace your darkness. Now's the time for an ASMR match light.
As we explain darkness, I can't think of a worse time to light a candle. Chapter 31. 4 days later, and there's been no word from the spring or summer court. Feyre is back in the sparring ring with Cassian, still training. Amren is watching and commenting on Cassian's teaching when she can, obviously just to get underneath his skin. Mor shows up, and Cassian is immediately asking her where she went when they were out at Rita's. Feyre had joined them 2 nights ago, but mainly sat with Az and bet on people asking out Rhysand. He politely declined every offer. I wonder why. Mor basically tells Cassian she doesn't answer to him. Feyre can sense tension between Cassian and Mor, but doesn't push. Cassian asks what Mor and Amren are even doing there, and Mor says Rhysand is coming with news which Amren was supposed to tell them over an hour ago, but she got distracted by giving Cassian a hard time. Cassian and Amren are about to face off when Rhysand finally shows up. Rhysand's news? Him, Feyre, and Amren are officially going to the summer court. Cassian is not invited since he was banned for leveling a building. Az is still on his mission to break into the Queen's palace, and Mor will be left to guard Valeris. Amarin is coming for protection, and there might be some jewels for her to snag if she pleases. Feyre is coming to see if she can steal the first half of the Book of Breathings, so the three are headed to summer vacation. And I don't know why, but the way I ended that chapter made me think of my 4th grade musical, which was also about summer vacation. And I still remember the opening number where it was like traveling down the road, carrying quite a load, seeing things we've never seen before. I played the teacher, and I did have a big line.
Well, I'm sure you killed it because that
Perfect.
was riveting.
Thank you. We can actually just, for the
Yes.
rest of the episode, I will reenact the musical.
That is
Thank
perfect.
you.
Everyone wants that.
This chapter is like, it's never a love triangle to me. I never once was like, ooh, is more into Cassian or more into Az? The way Moore and Cassian
Yeah.
interact is, like you were saying, is like a friendship. I never questioned it. I never was like, oh, do they actually love each other? So you just get to see that reaction a little bit more here.
It's that sibling, like, taunting and messing with, and
I can't not say Rita's, like Rita Skeeta, like from Harry Potter.
I want you to say it like the granny. Rita from Bluey.
Oh, yeah. Rita.
That's all I can
Here
think
come
of.
the grannies. I want to know the story behind Cassian leveling the building.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it's just mentioned, but no
mean-
details.
We get the whole, like, who won the snowball fight, but we don't get what happened.
And I just
during
picture
the
him being
scene.
like, oh, come on, Rhysand. It was literally like one building.
One building.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it looked at me weird.
And then Amarin is like, I don't want to go. And then Rhysand is like, there'll be jewelry. And she's like, okay, fine. I'll go.
Fine. You're right. He doesn't know about all the jewels that he has. I could slip some on and he'd never notice. I'm in.
I eat it up with Amren's love interest.
Oh
over
my
there.
gosh, I loved
much he's
this.
obsessed
Yes.
with
It
her.
was so
Ah.
cute. I loved it even the first time I read it when she describes it as a dog and a
Yes.
cat. I was like, it really, really
Yeah.
is. And it's so cute. Little golden retriever boy just wagging his tail, and Amren's like, all right, fine. I'll play.
I think it's always fun when a non-lovey-dovey character falls in love. Like, it's always
It's
fun to
the
watch.
best. Literally, she's drinking
Yeah.
blood and petting her golden retriever. It's adorable. I love how we get to see some of Cassian's true colors in this chapter and the previous one before we get his whole thing with Nesta, too. Like, he can be that guy who's nice and letting you open up and there to take whatever punch you can throw, even if he's not interested in you.
It doesn't, like, Feyre say as much. Like, he's such an oxymoron from the guy that was snipping at his sister. Or at
Yeah.
her sister.
I mean, she's literally got magic in her hands that could kill him. He's not any kind of high fae or anything. And he's like, I'm good if you need to keep hitting.
Yeah.
No mitts, just ready to take whatever she can throw.
No
You know,
mitts.
I just like that.
I love that. Chapter 32. The plan? Amarin, Rhys, and Feyre would winnow directly into... Help me here, people. Help. Jenna, you're doing the audiobook.
The castle city of the summer court? You want me to say the city's name? Because I don't
If
know
you
it.
were to guess, though, like if you were to take a stab at it. When I tried to type it, it literally auto-corrected to Adriana.
Oh my god, I thought it said Adriana. I was skipping over that word because I thought it said Adriana.
They winnow directly into Adriana, the castle city of the summer court.
Adriana.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Adriana, are you ready?
Adrisha?
Adrita. Adriata.
It's probably
Oh
Adriana.
my god.
To be, I mean, I
Oh.
don't know this, but I'm
You're
gonna
in,
just go based
you're in
off of
Adriana,
what
so
I
it's
would
crazy you wouldn't say
assume.
Adritata, but that's...
Adritata
That's because mine's right. Everything else
I'd
is
like
wrong.
to have a frittata in
Okay.
Adritata.
I'm going with Adritata because there needs to be another T there. Anyways, it's the castle city of the summer court. staying for however long. Like, if you were to listen, would you even understand what I'm saying right now? There was too much of a gap. Chapter
No.
32.
You need to restart.
The plan, Amarin, Rhys, and Feyre would winnow directly into Adratata, the castle city of the Summer Court, staying for however long it took for Feyre to detect/seal the first half of the Book of Breathings. The next day, they do exactly that, as Rhys winnows them to the Summer Court, landing on a platform at the base of a palace surrounded by a city and the sea. Ships are everywhere. Some are merchant vessels and others are ferries. Welcoming them was Tarquin, the High Lord of the Summer Court, which Feyre instantly recognized, not because she remembered him from under the mountain, but because something within her was called to him. Rhys responds back with, "Good to see ya." The 5 people behind Tarquin gave Amarin and Feyre a skeptical look, so Rhys introduces Amarin and Feyre to Tarquin. Tarquin assesses Feyre, and after some calculations, and either looking at her breast or where his power maybe went, says, "You have a tale to tell, it seems." Rhysand basically responds with, "We have many tales to tell, so let's get comfy." As they enter the palace, Tarquin introduces the other 5 people: a princess named Cressida, 3 advisors, and Varian, the younger brother of Cressida and the captain of Tarquin's guard. Varian's focus was on Amren, like he already knew she was the biggest threat in the room. Walking through the palace, Feyre notices there are high fae going about their day, not paying notice to the visitors, but not a single lesser fairy is in sight. Tarquin tells Feyre there are 4 main cities in his territory. They stay in this city during the last month of winter and the beginning of spring. Rhysand asks about the repairs, which Tarquin says are going well, but still there is lots of work to be done. The 3 advisors say their farewells and give the High Lord a look that says, "Don't screw this up, young lad." The remaining crew end up in a meeting room with a beautiful view of the sea. Feyre is drawn to the windows and has another thought to paint. Tarquin walks up to her and says that it's his favorite view as well. Feyre says he must be proud to have such stunning lands. Tarquin asks a careful question of how does it compare to the other lands she's seen. She answers carefully as well, just saying everything in Prythian is nice compared to the mortal realm. He then asks if being a mortal is lovelier to being human. Feyre gives him the same sass back and says, "You tell me." Their conversation transitions to Under the Mountain and how Feyre fits in with Rhysand's court. Rhysand answers for her. She is in his inner circle and emissary to the mortal lands. She knows this is an invitation to sit and join the rest of the group, so she does. Now it's time to get to business. The highlights of this quick intro meeting: a war is here and Hybern is ready to fight. And no, Rhysand and Feyre do not want an internal war with the Spring Court to add to the chaos, despite what Cressida thinks. Lastly, tonight there will be a party on the pleasure barge to welcome them as guests. The meeting is adjourned once Rhysand makes it clear that anyone's life will be forfeit if they try to send word to Tamlin that Feyre is here or send her to him. Tarquin doesn't take being threatened in his own court lightly, and Rhysand just says, "It's not a threat, just a little fact." Feyre eases the tension with saying, "No wonder immortality never gets dull."
I had a point to make about the paintings.
Yes.
It just shows how much Feyre is healing, and I know we've already pointed that out once. I wanted to point it out again. She mentions using the color red in the painting that she wants to make about Rhys and Azriel fighting, and she doesn't think, "Oh, I can't use the color red because I'll freak out." She doesn't have any of those thoughts. She just says, "I can picture it, red and gold and blah blah blah." She's healing.
Feyre does stick up for herself, so she is protective over herself. But also, this is a great scene for Rhysand to be protective over Feyre in front of outsiders, because it's always been his inner court. So now that they're in a different court, I think it is kind of fun/interesting to see him speak up for her beyond that.
And it's a good way for Feyre to experience protectiveness in a way that isn't a jail.
Yes. Like another
Like,
unmentioned High Lord.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not a hater. Not being
Not
a
being a
hater.
hater, just being a truth teller. I picture this palace as just like one giant seashell kingdom, kind of like in The Little Mermaid, but like above ground. And then I did put a little note, don't get any seashells in your toenails because that is very painful. My nephew once got a little seashell under his toenail and kept it there for about 48 hours before he told an adult. And it was not a fun experience pulling that thing out.
Almost had to go to the ER. Was not
Was
fun.
not great.
It's gots to go,
It's
bud.
gots to go.
It's gots to go.
It just can't be, you can't walk around barefoot in this kingdom. And that's the point I was actually trying to make.
The broken shells are coming for your
Yeah.
toes.
I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I know this to be a fact. There needs to be a book that's just stories of the stupid things High Lords have fought over. Because Crescenda has been like Crescendo.
Cressida?
Cressida?
Crescendo.
She's like, you think like you're a little plaything. You think men haven't fought over her for less. So I just want there to be like, even maybe it's from her perspective and she's just telling the history. I would love a book of her talking about that.
How old
Yeah.
is Cressida? Does it say? Because I don't remember. Is she older
I don't think it
than
mentions.
Tarquin?
I think she has to be. I think because the way that she treats
Okay.
him.
She knows more about all of the court appropriate ways to handle
Well, and
things. And that's how she's doing
it
it.
talks about all the advisors like judging him and stuff. And I just feel like she also is judging him. And I don't necessarily think that's like a younger generation thing to do. I think it's very much like she knows more and knows the rules and is kind of like, are you going to live up to what we expect of you?
But I can't believe he's only
Yeah.
80.
I know.
I think that is wild.
He's just a baby.
He's like way younger.
Just baby Tarquin.
Way younger than Lucian, who's like, I'm a baby. You know, he's always pointing out how he's not that old and he's pretty young, but he is so much older than Tarquin. He's like an infant. He's he's an infant in the
Yeah.
fairy world. Did you guys have the Polly Pockets
I picture
that
go
were
ahead.
the seashell Polly Pockets where you like it's shaped like a seashell and then you open it up?
I've seen them. I had Polly Pockets, but I
Well,
didn't have
that's
that one.
what when you were describing the Little Mermaid shell thing, that's what I pictured. Like, we should make Polly Pockets for each of the kingdoms.
It's funny because like all the other courts, I picture like normal castles and stuff like that. But for some reason, for this court, they just went all out. They were like shells everywhere. Let's mention sea glass as much as possible. People can only wear sandals, which is going to get crazy annoying. Like it just seems like they live in a giant seashell by the seashore,
And it's hot.
and Sally lives there as well
Oh, Sally. Sally's selling them. Sally's selling those seashells.
by the seashore.
Gotta get me more
Yeah,
seashells.
she's got to pay that tithe. Chapter 33. Feyre is getting comfortable in her guest suite when Rhysand comes in, reminding Feyre to do whatever it takes to get the job done and don't get caught. Then he asks if she likes being looked at by Tarquin. Rhysand can't decide if he's actually attracted to her or if he knows that she carries a piece of his power. Feyre asks why can't it be both? He puts each hand on the side of Feyre's dresser, trapping her, and reiterates that she is to accomplish her mission successfully and to not get caught. Feeling risky, she asks even if it means riding him. Rhysand's response is that she is allowed to do whatever she wants. She says, maybe I will, and they both obviously lie and say, it's fine. Still trapped in between his arms, he asks Feyre to light a candle nearby. Instead of lighting it, it's knocked over by a splash of water. Clearly, being close to the sea has awoken her powers from the High Lord of the Summer Court. Feyre thinks to herself, no one was my master, but I might be the master of everything if I wished, if I dared. And just like that, she wills the droplets of water into a chandelier above her and Rhysand. He suggests to keep that little party trick out of the bedroom with Tarquin. She answers with shooting all the droplets of water towards Rhysand. He leans away from her and says, good work, and starts to walk off. She asks if Hamlin, because autocorrect can't do Tamlin, so I'm leaving it as Hamlin, really will go to war over her. He replies that he doesn't know. She wants Rhysand to know she would go back to avoid that. He asks if she would actually want that. She says no, she wouldn't, but she'd do it to avoid pain and killing. Rhysand just shakes his head and says that bastard knew how special Feyre was and wanted to lock her up to keep her to himself. Tamlin loved Feyre too much, and that was the issue. Too much love is like poison. Then Rhysand leaves her room. Now it's time for the pleasure barge. Hate that name, by the way. Feyre spends almost the whole time watching Rhysand flirt with Cressida. Cressida? Okay, I wrote it out, but not good enough. Okay. She does take a minor break to talk to Tarquin. Their conversation includes how he hid his treasures from Amarantha, and she sets up a date for them to look at said treasure tomorrow after lunch. Then they discuss how money holds the ultimate power in the mortal lands, and how that divide of the poor and rich is similar to the divide with High Fae and the Lesser Fairies. Tarquin says he would love to see a day where lesser fairies don't have to be hidden, but can walk freely. Feyre considers him in this idea and says he would be easy to love and to be a friend of. He states he wouldn't mind either. Then she sees Rhysand flirting again and excuses herself to get some fresh air. She spends the remaining hour waiting for him to come check on her, but he never shows up, and Rhysand isn't waiting for her when they get off the barge either.
You know, when you're messing with your significant other and then they start messing back and you both push it way beyond where it should go and then you're both pissed off? That's exactly what happens here. They piss themselves off at the other person and it's hilarious to me.
Well, and you were talking about healing earlier, and if you notice, he puts a hand on either side of her, trapping her in, and she doesn't freak out. I don't even think she notes it. Like, I mean, in the book it explains that's what he does, but she doesn't like stressed or is like I feel trapped or anything.
You can watch it progress throughout the chapters. Even last series that we went, she's like, I had nightmares, but I didn't throw up. I still woke up, but I wasn't vomiting. And now she's having nightmares, but she's not even waking up. She knows she's having them, but she sleeps. And so, like, the progression of healing is moving along.
It has to be noted. Yeah.
What do you think?
That was a train.
I agree with you.
I did get that. That was apparent.
It didn't have the choo choo, so I didn't know. I didn't know if you'd get it.
Give a choo choo for the viewers.
Choo choo.
Okay.
Now
Okay,
you know.
Thomas. So, what do you think Rhysand means when he says that Tamlin knew what Feyre was and hid her away for himself? So, do you think he's saying, like, Tamlin knew how powerful you were and wanted to eventually use you for his own gain? Because I never got that vibe. So, like, what do you think Rhysand is specifically saying here?
Well, I mean, Tarquin does say later, like, I think you'd be easy to love too. And so maybe that's just it. Like, he knew what a good person she was, that she'd fight for everything that she wants. And he's like, no, you can only want me. So I'm hiding you away. I don't want you to see what else is out there because you're going to find that I'm not the best. So I'm going to hide you away. I don't think that Tamlin has that same drive that Ianthe does. That he wants to have powerful babies with a powerful female and like further his court. I don't think he has that drive. He's just a self-loathing High Lord.
No, I think you're onto something because I do feel like, in all honesty, I think she is very powerful. That is not being denied in this statement, but the reality is that's not what he's truly meaning. I think he's just talking about how special of a person she is, but also as now a fae, like what he's told her all along, value that heart, that human heart of yours, because you come from both worlds now. And you are a special person that's easy to love, that's willing to fight for those that you love, but Tamlin wasn't willing to meet you there. And so, like, I think that's what infuriates Reese is that it wasn't, I was willing to help you through your trauma. I wasn't willing to help you learn to hone your powers that you were just enveloping yourself in and not knowing what to do. It was going to kill you eventually, but also just wanting to cage you in that way, like diminish you as who you are versus like making you shine brighter, making you hone exactly what beautiful
Yeah.
diamond you are in his eyes. That's how
Yeah,
I
I
would see
have to
it.
keep you here and lock you down and not let you see
Yeah.
what the rest of the world is, or else you're gonna want better.
That jealousy that keep you away from
It's
others.
maybe what he witnessed his father do to his mother in the same spring
And maybe
courthouse.
what
You know,
Rhys saw his dad do
Maybe.
to his mother,
Yeah.
too, as well. Watching Rhys flirt, and she realizes, like, oh, my emotion I'm feeling right now is unhappiness. I am unhappy. That had to have sucked. But also, it had to been, like, somewhat of a relief. And she even mentions it, like, instead of feeling numb and feeling nothing, I am feeling unhappy. So I feel like for her, as much as that sucked and was painful, it's almost a relief to have any emotion besides numbness.
oh look at that, more growth
Agreed.
and more healing.
It's all about healing.
You know,
But I think it's so important that their flirtation, and that's why he's always, even under the mountain, tried to play with her. And that's like, the flirtation play, because it's better than feeling numb and feeling lost and not having any way out. He'd rather you hate me. He'd rather you throw all, even like Cassian, throw it all at me on the mat. Like, what do we got to do to get this out? Because bottling it up is only going to make it worse, right?
yeah. But also, I wouldn't even give all the credit to Rhysand here. It's literally just
Mm-hmm.
Feyre being allowed to be out and socialize with other people
Yes.
to be able to see how she's going to react to other people's
Yeah.
emotions all around her. I mean, if you stay locked up, you're not going to ever feel that. So just being out and around other people, she's going to be able to heal and grow better as well.
I don't want her. She keeps saying, like, I don't want to steal from this guy. I want to be able to be honest with him when she's talking about Tarquin. And I agree too. Even later on, I'm just like, I really like this guy. I wonder how it would have gone if they had been honest with him, if he actually would have handed over the first half of the Book of Breathings, because I really feel like he would have.
I feel
Yeah.
so bad reading these chapters because I really do think if at the point where Feyre in the, I don't know if it's the next chapter or the 35 where she's like, now, I do it now. If she would have listened to her instinct and just done it, I think that they could have had a good friendship and trust if she would have been the first one to trust him.
Yeah. He doesn't say anything about it, but after they left, all of his advisors and his cousin, the princess, and stuff like that are just all like, hey, you were really stupid. You must have, like, we should have never invited him. You gave them all the clues. Like, he got chastised.
But also remember Varian, loves Amryn and he's going to get the skinny on like what they had to do. And there's no way that Tarquin, I mean, he is only 80, but they live a long time. It'll be fine. They're going to be friends again. Maybe,
Probably
hopefully.
not.
I got to go get my charger. Go ahead
Chapter
with
34.
the next chapter. I'll keep my headphones on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I will actually, since you can't say anything, just sing to you during this time. Oh my gosh, the vulgar gesture.
Are we back
I
to the
can't.
musical?
Traveling down the road and carrying quite a load.
Drink.
Okay, chapter 34. Feyre spends the rest of her evening laying in bed, spiraling about her relationship with Rhysand. She convinces herself it would be okay if they're just friends. Liar! The next morning, Feyre trying to avoid Rhysand stays in bed until it's time to get ready for her date after lunch with Tarquin. She takes a bath and makes little water animals until the bath water is cold. Nuala shows up to get her dressed and ready. Her sister drew the short stick and is helping Amryn. Once ready, she heads out into the palace, remembering from the day before on where to go. She meets up with Tarquin, Rhysand, Amryn, Cressida, and Varian. Ignoring Cressida and Rhysand, she offers the others a smile before heading off with Tarquin to go look at his treasures, not even giving Rhysand a second look. She swears she feels a black ripple against her mental shield and decides to offer Tarquin her flirtiest smile in response. She intertwines her arm in his, and they're off. Turns out that Tarquin truly does have quite the collection of treasure. Feyre is taken aback after seeing only one of his troves. She is also starting to get a little discouraged about finding the first half of the Book of Breathings since she sensed nothing in the trove, and this was just one of the many that was deep in the ground and heavily protected by wards and guards. Tarquin offers to give her a necklace as a thank you for Under the Mountain and for not laughing at his idea of an equal world. Could this guy get any more likable? He also asks if she will be his emissary to the human realms. He knows that Rhysand is seen as a bad guy, but he won't forget how he spared him under the mountain. How Rhysand was most likely Amarantha's whore to spare everyone else from her full attention. He wants a better relationship with Rhysand, and he thinks Feyre is the way to do it. He believes Feyre is kind, and Rhysand is not a monster who stole her away from Tamlin. She confirms as much. He states the same thing she did earlier, that she would be easy to love and even easier to make friends with. They go and visit other troves, but none contain the book. She is definitely starting to lose hope that she can do this. She asks to be done for the day, and guess who's waiting on her bed for her? Rhysand, of course. And here we have our first lover's tiff. Now, of course, they wouldn't label it this at this point because Feyre is in denial and Rhysand doesn't think he has a chance, but that's exactly what it is. He's mad she flirted with Tarquin and gave him an easy smile, and nothing in Rhysand's life is ever easy. She's mad because she thinks he slept with Cressida, but in my opinion, they're honestly both mad because they really, really want each other. Feyre is thankful for her found family, her court of dreamers, but ultimately she is thankful for his honesty. They clink glasses with a toast. To the people who look at the stars and wish, he responds, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered. So there have been plenty of books that we've gone over where we talk about the protagonist and like, would they ever forgive this person for betraying them? If you're in Tarquin's situation and you spend all this time with Feyre, do you think, like later on they obviously meet back up, but do you think that you would ever forgive her? You have all these serious conversations about a better world and you think you can trust her and that she's different, and then she betrays you. Like, even if it was for the good, she does in fact betray him. So my question is, do you think if you're him, do you ever forgive her?
I don't think that their relationship will ever be on the level that it could have been, for sure. But I do think that he's such a good guy that he is gonna ultimately forgive her.
It's got to be a deep regret for both Feyre and Rhys in this situation because they do realize how good Tarquin is, but they had to play this out a certain way, and I think that's their regret. Is that, like you said, he could have been an ally. He could have been willing to hand it over to you had you been open and honest. But there was just so much writing on it that they were running out of time and trying to do this all themselves before they realized who was really on their side.
It's just, if you were him, can you level that out and see that as like, this was a necessity that they had to betray me? It is in no way a reflection of who they are and at least their trustworthiness.
I think that's why I bring that up, is because I would forgive them knowing I got to see a side of them, but understanding that they just betrayed my trust for this reason. It could have gone differently. Let's learn from our mistakes and go forward. But at the same time, it's going to hurt. It's going to be hard to like get to that point of trust. But yeah, I think there's a great friendship still to come.
It pisses me off though that he is such a good guy and he's showing both of them how good he is, and they don't trust him and they do end up betraying him. And then, I know this is not in these chapters, but when it comes to the mortal queens, they trust him with every fucking thing. They immediately tell all their secrets to them and just trust them with everything, and they get their back stabbed.
In fairness, they thought they didn't have any other choice. They don't need Tarquin to trust them. Like, in their and they want him as an ally, but in order to get this first time, they thought this was a way to stop the war to where they would never even need him as an ally because there will be no war. So that's kind of, I think, their thought
Yeah,
process.
but why you gotta burn that bridge? I don't know. I get what you guys are saying. It's frustrating.
Oh, it's very frustrating.
Like they don't trust him, and then they trust the other guys. I'm not that forgiving to my main characters. It makes me upset.
Big grudge holder.
But I do like that the main characters are allowed to make mistakes and not be perfect as well in a book. I do like that.
And even Rhysand is later drinking on the rooftop because he's like, I knew I should have trusted him. And so we get to see that regret. You know, Rhysand is complaining about that easy smile that Feyre gives Tarquin. And when he's complaining about it, he says, and he will never know what it is to look up at the night sky and wish. The court of dreams, the people who knew that there was a price and one worth paying for that dream. The bastard-born warriors, the Illyrian half-breed, the monster trapped in a beautiful body, the dreamer born into a court of nightmares, and the huntress with an artist's soul. And I just like that description of every single person in the found family. And then also, she includes herself. She includes herself in this family. Like, it's almost like her acceptance of, I am a dreamer. I am in this court. This is my family. So I love that little segment.
Yes. I really like that.
It's a beautiful moment.
Oh, once again, healing represented.
Once again, I did ask if you guys have accomplished any dreams, but we are a little short on time. So I guess if you have a quick story that you would like to share, you can. If not, I'm going to jump to chapter 35.
All my dreams are nightmares.
Oh my God.
I'm going to take that as a hint to go to chapter 35. So, chapter 35. It had been 2 days of balancing truth and lies, of practicing crafting her water animals in secret. The morning of the third day, she takes a stroll through the broken city. She is reminded of what she saved. She may never forgive herself for killing those two Fae, but Feyre could at least have some ease knowing she saved these people from 50 years of torment. Headed back to her suite, defeated and exhausted from climbing up, not down, up the steps, she passes a flirtatious Amarin and a watchful Varian. As she climbs higher, she spots something out in the sea that is usually hidden with the tide. A small building calling to her, a little piece of home. Feyre knew instantly that that's where the book had to be, but she needed confirmation and she already had a plan. What's the plan, you asked? Well, at dinner that night, she very obviously brings up the building. Then she successfully jumps into Tarquin's mind to ease his suspicions. An impressive feat for such a young D-word here. Back in their suite after dinner, Amarin, Rhys, and Feyre come up with a plan. Scout out the guard schedules tonight, then tomorrow night, Rhysand will drop them both off at the building while he keeps guard. The twins will work inside the building, keeping an eye out. Hands in, break. Feyre and Amarin head for a midnight stroll.
Hands in, break on dreams.
2,
1,
3,
2,
dreams.
3, dreams.
It'd probably be rude to say, like, hey, no wraiths are allowed in the summer court, but also, isn't it crazy that, like, people that are made of, like, shadow and mist are allowed to just wander the halls of the castle? Like, it talks about how they walk through walls. I feel like that should be an exclusion. Like, hey, you can't visit my castle because you are a security risk.
It made me think of Casper's uncles just causing chaos in the house.
I do love how it describes Feyre getting into Tarquin's mind and, like, becoming the waves that are crashing up against his wall and then, like, breaking through. But also, I do think that I don't know if there's any other way to get to the bottom of, like, hey, is the book out there other than swimming out there? But I feel like she's so obvious, like, so, like, hey, I know we've been, like, talking about treasure and everything inside the palace, but, like, on my walk up earlier, there's this shack in the ocean. So, like, I was just curious about the shack. Like, I feel like, of course, red flag. Of course, you're gonna have to jump into his mind. Why would you were interested in treasure, and now you care about the shack in the middle of the sea? I don't know. I just feel like there may have been a better way to handle this.
I don't know. How would you breach that subject, though? Like, oh, I spotted this little building you can only get to when the tide is out. How do I make that possible? I'm just gonna go pilfer a little.
Pilfer?
A little pilfering.
Ding, ding, ding. Word of the episode, pilfer. Not sponsored.
I win. I don't know.
No,
I mean, could she have brought up something about sailing? Could she have? I mean, they were talking about the fish on the docks, and he was really into that. Like, oh, I haven't even had it.
I
that
just
way.
like how it's like, and I like the before it's like, and I have a plan. But really, it's not a plan. You just asked him about the shack. Like at dinner, you just brought the subject up. It wasn't really a plan. It was a question, which you can't claim as a plan.
I think her plan was to go into his mind and like soothe everything out. Her plan was
Take me to it.
Was to get in his brain.
Open these walls.
But I feel like she really relied on Reese a lot to be able to do that because she didn't try and get it into anybody else's brain, and everybody at that table heard her.
What?
Like, she didn't go into Tarquin's mind and talk to him. She said this out loud.
What a high stakes time to test out your abilities.
Trust fall.
I wonder if she felt that way just because of how young he is versus like another High Lord that would definitely have been like, no, you're tapping on the glass here.
Thank God she was so good at making those little water animals, because what if she couldn't have become the waves? Then what?
Feyre is so nice. Feyre can be trusted. Feyre is
Feyre good. Feyre not bad. Feyre trust.
Feyre won't still. Trust Feyre.
What is that? What were we doing earlier where we were saying it like that? Oh, when she's like solving the riddle and she was like, 1 bad, 2 good, 2 mean love, 2 like me Tamlin.
2 Tamlin. Tamlin Feyre.
And Reese is like,
me and Hamlin good, you and Hamlin bad.
Hamlin Feyre good.
Okay.
Oh my God. Get us out of here.
Okay,
Wrap it
no,
up.
hold on, you got one more point.
When she was practicing with the water animals and she was like, I wonder why this is so easy, why it comes so naturally to me. Maybe it's my affinity for water. And I'm like, what affinity for water? When did you think you had an affinity for water magic? What are you talking about? Was your mother a water fairy? Is a water fairy a thing?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It's the mom.
I don't
That
know.
seems like
It just
such a jump. She says she likes water, and you're like, the mom was obviously a water fairy if she's a mermaid.
Well, why would she be talking about how she has an affinity for water when we know she taught herself to swim and she like almost drowned? Obviously,
That would make
not great with water.
that's a high pressure moment. You either love it or hate it at that point, and she chose love. She does like she takes like a million baths in this book, so maybe she's just like, of course I'm good at water animals. I love my bubble baths.
She smells like barbecue because there's human fat all over. Of course, she's gonna take a bath.
I'm just saying.
Actually, I'd want to shower at that point. I would not want to stew in that.
Can you bring the twins in? I am just disgusting. Tell them to bring their squeegees. It's a mess.
It's a mess down there.
All right, now let's wrap it up.
All right. Now
can't.
let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we'll be stripping down chapters 36 through 44 in ACOMAF. Tune in every Tuesday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts for a new episode of Book Thots. And be sure and hit that follow button on all of our socials.